In this video, we are going to discuss about cloning vectors for yeast S. cerevisiae. Now, the genome of this S. cerevisiae, the length of the genome of S. cerevisiae is about 2 into 10 raised to 7 base pairs. Okay, it has 16 linear chromosomes in it, and some strain of this S. cerevisiae also contain a type of plasmid which is known as 2-micron circle. Okay, so this 2-micron circle is the name of the plasmid that is present in some strain of S. cerevisiae. Now, the size of this plasmid is about 6318 base pairs, and the copy number of this plasmid is about 70 to 200 per cell. Now, this yeast vectors which we are talking about can be grouped into 4 general classes. And on what that classification is based on? Well, it is based on how they replicate in a particular yeast. Okay, what is their mode of replication? What mode of replication these yeast vectors show in a particular yeast? On the basis of that, they are classified into 4 general classes, which is YIP, YRP, YCP and YEP. Okay, so these are the 4 general classes of yeast vectors. Now, all these plasmids, that is YIP, YRP, YCP and YEP, okay, all of these plasmids can be maintained in E. coli as well as S. cerevisiae. Okay, they can be maintained in 2 different organisms, that are E. coli and S. cerevisiae, and that is the reason why these plasmids, okay, this yeast plasmid which we are considering here, are known as shuttle vectors. Okay, so they are known as shuttle vectors. Why? Because they can be maintained in E. coli as well as in S. cerevisiae. Now, these vectors, yeast vectors, have unique origin of replication for each type of cells. Okay, we discussed, right, that this vector are maintained in E. coli as well as in S. cerevisiae. So the thing is that for E. coli, this vector have a particular origin of replication, as well as for S. cerevisiae, this vector has a particular origin of replication. And there are different markers in these vectors which will help us to select the transformed host cell which contain the vector. Okay, so it has unique origin of replications for each type of cell, and it has marker gene as well. So let's have a discussion about these types, 4 major types of the yeast vectors that we talked about, and we will start with yeast episomal plasmid, which is abbreviated as YEP. Now, this YEP vectors, that this yeast episomal plasmids, are based on the endogenous yeast 2-mu plasmid. Okay, on the basis of these vectors are based, and these plasmid contain the genetic information about their own replication and segregation. Okay, so YEP vectors are based on the endogenous yeast 2-mu plasmid. Now, there are some YEPs, okay, which will contain the entire 2-mu plasmid in them, and there are other YEPs as well which contain only the origin of replication of this 2-mu plasmid. Okay, so you have 2 different varieties here. Either that YEP will contain the entire 2-mu plasmid in it, or it will just contain the origin of replication of this 2-mu plasmid. Now, this YEPs show autonomous replication. They are capable of showing autonomous replication, and their copy number is about 2 to 200 per cell. Okay. Now, let's talk about the second type of yeast vector, which is yeast integrative plasmid, which is abbreviated as YIP. Now this YIP is actually a bacterial plasmid which carry yeast gene. Okay, a bacterial plasmid carrying the yeast gene, well, that is what your yeast integrative plasmid is all about. Okay, now this YIP does not contain 2-mu plasmid in it. Okay, it does not contain any part of this 2-mu plasmid, and it cannot replicate as this plasmid as well. Okay, it is a bacterial plasmid which contain yeast gene. Okay, so this YIP lack the yeast origin of replication. It does not have the origin of replication of yeast in it, and that is the reason why this YIP should be integrated in the yeast genome so that it can be maintained during cell division. Okay, if the integration of the yeast genome and YIP does not happen, then the cell will lose the YIP. Okay, the YIP will not be able to replicate. So it is mandatory for this YIP, that is yeast integrative plasmid, to get integrated in the yeast genome so that it can be maintained during cell division. Now YIP is present just one copy per cell. Okay, its copy number is 1 per cell, and this YIP are very stable vectors. Now this YIP contains a segment of E. coli plasmid PBR322. Okay, and this segment of E. coli plasmid PBR322 then provides the selectable antibiotic resistance gene for ampicillin and bacterial origin of replication. Okay, and because of the presence of this, the YIP is capable of doing selection and amplification in the E. coli cells. Okay, you can do the selection of the transformed cells with YIP because of this selectable antibiotic resistance gene, and this YIP are capable of amplifying in the E. coli cells because of this bacterial origin of replication. Now this YIPs integrate by doing recombination between the homologous sequences present on the YIP plasmid and the host genome. So on YIP plasmid you have homologous sequences, you have host genome. Okay, in between them there will be recombination, and that is how the YIP will be integrated into your host genome. Now let's talk about yeast replicating plasmid, which is abbreviated as YRP. Now this YRP vector contains the autonomous replication sequence ARS of chromosomal origin, and it also contains the elements of YIP. Okay, so you take YIP and you just insert ARS in it, and that becomes your YRP, as simple as that. Now this YRPs are capable of showing autonomous replication, and their copy number is about 3 to 30 per cell. Now let's have a discussion about yeast artificial chromosome, which is abbreviated as YAC. Now major limitation of most of the vectors is the size limit of the target DNA that they can carry. Okay, and this limitation is overcame by yeast artificial chromosome. Now YAC vectors allow cloning in yeast cell of foreign genomic DNA of size about 500 kb. So you can clone a 500 kb genomic DNA in yeast cell by using YAC vectors, and 500 kb is a large quantity if you compare with plasmid and other vectors. Okay, so YAC is all about that you are capable of cloning large amount of inserts. by using YAC vectors. Okay, that's the highlighting point here. But the thing is that YAC propagate in S. cerevisiae and they do not propagate in E. coli. And this yeast artificial chromosome are based on chromosomes and they are not based on plasmids or viruses. Okay, YAC are based on chromosomes rather than on plasmid or viruses. Okay, so YAC is your PBR322 plasmid basically, and in this PBR322 plasmid, the number of yeast gene is incorporated. Okay, so you take PBR322 plasmid, you add a lots of yeast genes into it, and that becomes your YAC. Now let's discuss about the essential functional components of this yeast artificial chromosome. Okay, so we start with centromeres. Now, what are these centromeres? Now, these centromeres are required for disjunction of two sister chromatids during mitosis and for the disjunction of homologous chromosomes during first meiotic division. Okay, so that's the function of the centromeres. Now, these telomeres are there. Telomeres are required for the complete replication of the linear molecules and they are also required for the protection of the ends of the chromosomes from the nucleus attack. Okay, so that's the function of your telomere which is there on your YAC. Now another part of YAC is this autonomous replicating sequence which is abbreviated as ARS, and this serves as your origin of replication. Okay, the replication will start from this sequence, from this autonomous replicating sequence. Now there are also selectable markers on YAC, and selectable markers are nothing but the genes that allow the yeast artificial chromosome selection in the yeast. Now this YAC contain functional copy of URA3 and TRP1, and URA3 is a gene that is responsible for uracil biosynthesis, whereas TRP1 is a gene which is required for tryptophan biosynthesis, and these two genes allow the selection of yeast if it contains vector. Okay, so these two are the marker genes in case of yeast artificial chromosome, that is TRP1 and URA3. Well, URA3 is the reason for uracil biosynthesis and TRP1 is responsible for tryptophan biosynthesis. Now this YAC also contains bacterial replication origin as well as bacterial selectable markers in it. Okay, so YAC is able to propagate in the bacterial cells because of the presence of this COL-E1 ori and ampicillin resistance gene. Okay, this COL-E1 ori is the origin of replication for E. coli, and this ampicillin resistance gene is a marker gene, and YAC vector contains both of them, and both of these genes are responsible for the growth and analysis of the E. coli which contains this YAC vector in it. So this is how your yeast artificial chromosome looks like. Okay, this is the diagram. Okay, so there is this ampicillin resistance gene, then there is this telomere, then this is the two restriction sites, and these all other genes are also present, and this is your autonomous replicating sequence. Okay, so let's see what does this represent. Okay, now this AMPR is the prokaryotic gene for ampicillin resistance, then ORI, which is present here, this is the prokaryotic origin of replication, then HIS3 and TRP1 are the yeast autotrophic mutants. They are yeast auxotropic markers, not mutants, Okay, HIS3 and TRP1 are the yeast auxotropic markers. Then there is this ARS1, which is autonomously replicating sequence. Then there is this CEN4, which is yeast centromere, and then this TEL represents telomere. Okay, so that is how your yeast artificial chromosome exists with all these components. Now let's also talk about yeast selectable markers. Now all yeast vector contain markers which allow the selection of the transformed yeast cell. Now most common yeast selectable markers are the genes which complement for specific auxotropy, that is for leucine, histidine and tryptophan. Okay, so most common yeast selectable markers are those genes which complement a specific auxotropy. And that is the reason why for this marker your host cell then should contain a recessive non-reverting mutation in it. Okay, so that is how the selection process goes in case of yeast artificial chromosome. Now most commonly used auxotropic selection markers for the selection of transformants are these genes, that is LEU2, TRP1, URA3 and HIS3. Okay, these are the most common auxotropic selection markers which are used in yeast artificial chromosome. And if you are using this gene, then you have to use a mutant strain that is auxotropic for leucine. Okay, and if you are using TRP1 as your genetic marker, then the auxotropic mutant that you are using should be auxotropic with respect to tryptophan. For URA3, it should be uracil, and for HIS3, it should be histidine. Okay, so whatever the marker gene, auxotropic selection marker gene which you are using in yeast artificial chromosome, you should be using a corresponding mutant strain that is auxotropic for its product. Okay, so if you are using LEU2, then the mutant strain should be auxotropic with respect to leucine, and that is all for the others as well. So now we are going to just see the different type of vectors which we discussed in previous videos, and if you haven't watched those videos, then you can watch those videos that are available in my channel. And we are going to compare the vector with the host and its carrying capacity. So consider M13 vector. Okay, the host of this vector is E. coli and the carrying capacity for M13 phage vector is 1 to 4 kb. Then you have plasmid. The host cell of plasmid is also E. coli. Then for lambda phage it is also E. coli. For cosmids it is also E. coli. And the carrying capacity of plasmid is 1 to 5 kb, whereas the carrying capacity of the lambda phage is 5 to 25 kb. And if you are considering cosmids, then the carrying capacity of the cosmids is about 35 to 45 kb. Okay, and then we consider P1 phage vector, then PACs, then BACs. For all of them also the host cell is E. coli, and the carrying capacity of P1 phage is 70 to 100 kb, whereas for PAC it is 100 to 300 kb, and for BAC it is more than 300 kb. And at last you have YACs, which we discussed just in this video. Well, the host cell for YACs is SCUACAE, and the carrying capacity of this yeast artificial chromosome is about 200 to 2000 kb. So, okay, so the largest carrying capacity is of this YAC, and the smallest carrying capacity, if you can say, then it is of M13 phage. Okay, so that gives you a nice idea about the vectors and their carrying capacity, and also about their host organisms. So that's all for this video. See you next time.